at a point when you were considering getting into social media, you had an ex who said if you do social media, he will leave you.
It was a Ghana man, no?
It was,
The Ghana man in the room. Look at all of you.
How old was he? It was like 15, 16?
Yeah, I was 16, 17.
Uh-huh.
I know. It was a bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
But wait, what was it like? You said, "Oh, I want to do content." And
that was the time like YouTube was going big, and I knew like I wanted to do social media. And I think he just said like, "You're embarrassing me. Like, there's no way you're gonna do that. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, put down the phone, put on the camera. You're not doing that."
All right, welcome people to another exciting episode of the Sincerely Accra podcast. Okay, listen, sometimes you need to pop out and show niggas. So sometimes when you're on a break, you know, you come out and you always come out for people that are very, very, you know, interesting, necessary, you know. On today's very special episode, we're going to be talking to somebody that, you know, I discovered in 2020, you know, in the middle of put your head on my shoulder and then bust it. Baby. That's where I discovered her. But she's been a joy. She's been a light. And I've kind of worked with her by proxy, but I'll let her know. But today we're going to be speaking to Aderonke Sofiyat Ibrahim. That's how I know her, but you know her as the Odditty with the extra T. Welcome.
Hi. The full government name
The
is
full government name. The full government name.
Hi guys. I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun. It's my first podcast in Accra.
Come on,
Ever.
Sincerely
Like you're breaking my virginity. Oh my God, stop.
Oh,
Don't play.
We're going to lubricate. Listen, I went to an event like last weekend.
Okay.
And like 3 or 4 people walked up to me and they were like, "Oh my God, please, the Odditty has to come on the podcast."
Really?
And I'm like, what is going on? How do you guys know we're already in conversation?
Period.
And I was just like,
People
wow.
be lurking.
Yeah.
You're always watching, which is what I love.
Well, she's here.
I'm here, guys. Hello. Thank
Hello.
you for having me.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Of course.
My very first question, which is a little bit of an attack.
Okay.
You think salad is for goats?
Yes. Wait. How did you know that? Have I said this publicly? Or did I just...
Okay, so if you think salads are for goats, who is the target market for coleslaw?
Well, see, let's explain that. I don't think coleslaw is a salad, though.
You don't think it's a salad?
I think that's different. Because I feel like... Because like the color, I feel like goats like the green. I just can't stand the crunch. Like coleslaw, I think is like rich. The carrots are there, like the mayo is there. Like I feel like it's a full experience. Kale, broccoli, all that like in your mouth. No, but you sound like a goat eating it.
Oh, please. Well, you sound like a goat eating crackers. You sound like a goat eating.
No, the crunch is different. There's taste. It's vibrant. Please. The other day I was trying to eat. No, I actually didn't try it.
Cream crackers has taste.
Yes, no. It's just like, but it's not goat's material. All I know is that why am I eating green food when there's chicken, when there's goat meat? Me and the goats are fighting for leaf. It's crazy. I'm not doing that. Give me goat's meat, please. Listen,
I want to rebut this, but I don't want to waste time.
Leave the grass for the goats. I eat the meat itself.
Really?
Hashtag I support vegetarians and vegans. I love you. I don't make.
Okay, look at this. But guess who's not going to support you, Peter?
I'm telling you, please.
All right. Okay, so. We like to do a little chronological journey with our guests here.
Okay.
How old were you when you went to boarding school?
Oh, 9.
9?
9 years old.
Exactly. What was that like? Being in boarding school at the tender age of 9?
I think it was normal. Oh, let me tell you a story actually. Because my mother forgot I was supposed to go to school. So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Because my mom had me 10 years after she had my brother. So the 2 of us, we have step siblings, half siblings. My father was a Rolling Stone, all that jazz.
Oh, but, yeah, you have like 13.
Yeah, it's like 13 of us that we didn't even find out until he died. But she had my brother 10 years before me. And she likes to say she was just chilling. My father came back again, bam, bam, one time. And she got pregnant for me. And so she had like done everything 10 years prior. Like my brother was in university, I think at the time, almost there when I was trying to go to school. I graduated from primary school and I just was sitting at home one day and she was going to work and she looked at me and she said, "Why are you here?" And I looked at her and I said, "I don't know. Like she was asking you that question." She's like, "Don't you have school?" I said, "School is done. Unless you want me to go to primary 6, but all my friends are leaving in primary 5. So I'm not going back to school unless..." She's like, "So where are you going to go?" You shouldn't be asking me this question, woman. Yeah. Like you are the mother in the situation. So I'm serious. We called every single person we knew. And politics, you know, call everybody we knew. Of course. Like, "Oh, my child is not going to school. She did not write entrance examination for any schools. Let's figure it out." And that's how I got to school. Like I literally just went to a random school, not random, Home Science Secondary School. The principal then told me to recite a verse in the Quran to get into the school. I don't know if I should be saying this. And I don't
That's
think I
how
would
many years
ever
ago?
do this for anybody else. But this was 2009, I think, was when I did it. Right? Yeah.
Me and math.
No, I did not write any entrance examination for any school to get into the high school. I didn't do that. They just told me to recite Surah Al-Fatiha.
Quran.
And that was it.
And you
And
said
he was
it.
just like, you seem like a smart child. All right, you're accepted in.
Oh.
I think it's still principal now. Hi, sir.
Hi, sir. No, I remember when I was going to my primary school, I remember the interview was, I went with my mom, there was like a big jar of candy, and they ask you, how many do you think is in there? And I just said some random number. That was all.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I love that. That's how you test children.
Critical thinking, I guess. I don't even remember what I said, but
2 is what everybody can do to plus 2.
Yeah.
But when people can actually have critical thinking like that.
I mean, but you also
That's
have retentive memory because you're able to recite the whole Quran.
Yeah,
thing.
but I was like a good Muslim. I still am, mommy.
You still are.
But yeah.
We're going to talk about that though.
Okay.
No, but I wanted to know, like, how would you say boarding school at the age of 9 shaped your personality?
I think it made sense to me because even the school I went to was about a 4-hour drive from where home was.
Were you
So
a
I
day
think-
student?
No,
You-
boarding school. So I
Okay.
went to boarding, and I wanted to because my brother and my mom were very close. So I don't think I wanted to be close to them in that way. He is they're very close. Like he was always close to home, everything. So I knew I wanted to go far away from home anyways. So I was ready to run away. Like I was ready to be in boarding
At
school.
9?
Yeah, I was ready. Like I wanted the independence. I've always been that stubborn. I'm the quintessential last born. Like I want to be alone. I want to do my thing myself. I want to make my own dreams come true. Like I'm very much independent. I'm a control freak. So for me, boarding school at 9 was like, okay, now it's my time to create my own rhetoric, my own story and stuff like that. Yeah, since 9 years old.
And so even at like 9, would you say like you were pretty known in school? People knew you?
Yeah. I feel like anyone who knows me now and knows what I do would tell you that they expected
She was
it.
always like that.
Oh my God. I was a chorister. I was a Muslim. Like, please. I would be curious. I was in front. I couldn't sing, but I would make sure I was in the dance class.
Do you remember any songs from the choir?
Yeah. I was ready.
What choir were you in?
I was, okay. So I really, really wanted soprano because they were in front. But I feel like they gave me like tenor because
I knew it.
You know, I was like, whatever. And I fought for soprano. I fought for it, but it never worked out. Yeah.
I don't think you can do the Hallelujah chorus with this voice.
I'm telling you, I could not.
Okay, so I know you are a really brilliant student because at some point, and you know, I've been listening to your podcast, and I've always wondered what you look like with hair. And there's a video of when you won the prize money.
Oh, you did? What the heck?
Yes,
Hey.
and you had hair, and I remember you were wearing this little wine dress with a jacket over it, and they called you, and your mother came to hug you. Girl, she looked really cute with the hair.
What?
Yes.
No, that's like, oh my God, that made me feel so good. Stop it.
Yeah. So you won that. That's like for being the well-rounded student.
Yeah, that was a funny story. So I went through secondary school, like always doing everything. And it wasn't like our parents were like, my mom was rich or anything. It was just, I just knew like, but
class.
middle class. I just knew I didn't want to stay in Nigeria for university, but I didn't know what I was going to do about it. So I was just on the side. And so we're graduating, and Banky W went to my school.
Okay.
And he's like a really great Nigerian musician. And he
I know Banky W.
Yeah, no, like I was saying,
Sofiyat, come on.
But the people, not you, not you.
Okay.
And then he had a scholarship, 1 million naira to like the top student was what he was going to give for our graduating class. Because he shot the yes or no video. Would you be my lover? Yes, no. In my school.
Really?
Yeah, so like that was the gift for that year in my school then. So there's this girl, Fejiro, shout out to Fejiro, who was like the top. She was the head girl. Like she all A science students that everybody just thought she was going to
get it.
And that was me too. I remember like during our graduation, my mom was sitting there, everything, they were announcing everything. I was in the back moving around because I never sit down. I'm like telling people like, oh, Fejiro is going to get it. I'm going to call Fejiro right now. Like I was with my friend Darren at the time. I was like, oh, I can't wait to celebrate Fejiro. I literally kept saying that. And then people kept telling me, I said, Sophie's like, Ronke, because that was what everybody called me.
That was your name at the time, yeah.
Ronke. And I was like, why are you shouting my name now? What's going on? They're like, you won. I said, one word. And they're like, Ronke Ibrahim, where is Ronke? Because they couldn't find me because I was not in the hall.
I saw in the video, you're like, coming from
I was
the back.
like looking around like, why are they looking for me? And they're like, oh, I won it. I said, my mom was not crying, so dramatic. And she was like crying and everyone was like yelling, and they talk about how I was smart, but I was also like well-rounded. So I did social events. I was like always doing all A's in school. And so that's why I got the award. And that's how I was able to like come to America too.
Are you like naturally smart, or you think you work hard for it?
I just know how to talk to teachers.
Oh.
I think school has always been easy for me because I always knew how to talk to teachers. I think students forget that teachers are humans too, and they grade based on like emotion. Now, this is maybe an unpopular opinion, But like for a lot of times, like of course you have to read and study. But like if you know your teacher, you know how they grade, and you know and that's how
so
you
when
pass.
you're writing your answers, you know how to tailor.
I know
it
how
to...
like especially in like math, of course, is usually the harder one. But like a math teacher, if I know like I'm struggling with this, I will spend more time talking to the teacher, seeing what kind of things he leans towards asking more of. Oh, he's the kind of person that like likes probabilities more in his test. Probably when we're talking, I'll get that information. So now I'm gonna make sure I study probabilities more to pass the class. Okay. That's how I did well in school.
Come on, observant.
I was always so calculating.
Okay.
It's like figuring out school.
I see. All right. So then after that, you decided to go and study law. Was that your own decision, or was something you were doing for... Oh, okay.
So like my brother's a doctor, so it made sense.
Okay, doctor,
like,
lawyer.
You know what I mean? That was our goal in life. She wanted me to be a lawyer, and my brother was gonna be a doctor. And I know I talk a lot, clearly. So like,
you know, they say that to people that talk a lot, or people that like to argue. They'll be like, "Oh, you should be a lawyer."
Yeah, because I like to argue. I like to be right.
So I don't know if that's all it takes to be a lawyer. It's a lot of reading that course.
I'm not a lawyer. I didn't get it. I left.
So there was an unfortunate event that happened in law school that catapulted you into America.
Yes,
which for me is like how you ended up in America is so wild to me.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah. But okay, so let's just, I'll set the scene and then you finish.
Okay.
So you're in law school.
I am.
And you used to wear a hijab and everything fully covered.
Yeah, black and white to my job.
Yeah. And then a professor calls you into his office
you told, hey, okay, I love that you, okay. So I went to University of Ilorin. Kwara State. I loved school there. And then one day, again, talkie, yappa, always moving around. I was in under level, at least everybody knew me for something then. And Professor Kunade is what his name is. I'm calling him out now. I'm calling his name out. Because he was a very popular professor that people knew at the time.
Okay.
And then he called me into his office that day. And I'm like 15, like 15 going on 16. And he's sitting down and he's like, you're going to come into my chambers Tuesdays and Thursdays. At this time, I like you, you're going to service me, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, all these things, or you're going to fail out of law school. I look at him and I said, with my hijab and everything, I was so tiny. I'm still so tiny. And I remember looking at him and I said, sir, I'm just 15. Like, literally, that was the only thing I could think of. Like, maybe you might have mistaken me for an adult. Let's just be clear. I am not an adult. Like, maybe I've been talking too much. I might have mistaken me for someone who knows what she's doing. Right. I don't. And he just looked at me like, you have no choice. And that was it. And I remember getting up from his office. I think he asked me to come sit on his lap or something. And I was like, no, I'm going to go. And I remember thinking survival mode is, let me just think about it. Like, I'll think about it, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. There's no thought about it. Leave my office, that kind of thing. I'll see you on Tuesday. Because I think there's this, if you're not the only one. So maybe like he had people for Monday and Wednesday and on Tuesday, Thursday, and it's Friday.
New booking.
You never know. So I remember I left the office and I remember like crying. And then, when you're just like talking to other people a little bit to hear what they have to say. And, they will say, oh, everybody does it. Or like, that means they've picked you. You're going to pass school. Like, everybody. I mean, like, this is a school that's predominantly Muslim. So you see a lot of like hijabis who are having to do this to survive, especially as women in Nigeria. And it's like a story that like is not uncommon. Like, this is what a lot of young women in Nigeria face in university. And I think for me, I wouldn't even say I was lucky, but I think I'm a survivor. So I remember thinking and going, I won't let this be my story. And then even going through the sexual assault with him and like getting sexually harassed by the goons he was sent to me to make me like submit. I remember
goons?
Called
were they students?
No, students too. Like calling your phone anyhow, finding you in corners and telling you that Mr. Kinney is looking for you. Where are you going to be? And now that if you don't come in now, like it was horrifying. Like my friends in Lauren tell you like one day I was there, one day I wasn't. Like one day I was in school and before they knew it, I posted on Facebook that I'd moved to America and I was in Concord University. Because the way it happened was I literally called my brother. I'm leaving, like, I'm going to leave Ilorin. I'm not doing this anymore. I will not lose myself to this system. And then, remember, we had the Banky W money from the scholarship. Yeah.
She stole the money.
Stole the money from my mom's account. Because she was not going to send it to me. And I love my mom, but I remember when I was telling her this story, it came from her response to me then was, in many ways, what were you wearing? What were you doing? Kim Farabale. Was that line I'll never forget. Kim Farabella, which means like you don't calm down. You don't relax. You don't hide. Right? Like you're too out there.
Every day
it's true. Like look at me outside now. I'm always talking. And I remember thinking to her like, I would never not be this
person.
Like this is never. There's never a time in my life that I would dim my life for anybody else. And so when I said, it was like, I know this house is going to be like that. So we started the plan. Because also there was this is such a random sidebar, but there's a story where it said that my dad said none of his kids would study abroad.
Huh?
Random. So that was what she had always told us growing up. So for me, it was like, okay, I know if I tell her I want to travel, she's going to say no again. And I'm like, only daughter, only child, last child. She won't want me to go all the way. So this is like a hustle that we have to do. And I did it. Apply for SAT.
So wait, when you were leaving, did she know the reason why you were leaving?
Oh, she did. Like, I feel like she just accepted, because my brother like planned it with me. Like, he was very much like my backbone. That's why we're so close. It was a backbone to where, like, if she was freaking out or she was upset by anything, he just told her, like, you've known your child enough to know that she's going to do this either way, with you or without you. Like, she will find a way to get this done. So I remember, like, when my mom was out of town, my brother's is driving me to the exam places. He's driving me to go, like, do my tests. He's driving me to, like,
SATs,
IELTS, all of that. To, like, make sure I passed. And, like, we're studying together. Like, I was in a hostel in Unilag then, Luth, actually. And I'll be studying in his room, this little room in the corner, while, like, for the exams and stuff. And he would just be there cheering me on. He would go out, turn up, come back. I'll be sitting there reading so I can pass my exams to then go to America. Yeah.
Very determined, by the way. At 15.
I was very determined. I was,
oh my God. I was waiting
I was like, this is my chance. Now there's no excuse anymore. I'm going to do it. Yeah.
At 15, I was waiting for the next Beyonce album. Like, no, but that's crazy. So this is 2017?
2014, yeah.
So you get into America.
Yeah.
I think you had a paternal uncle or something in America.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
hey, you know my entire life story. I love it.
Faravale. No, but what was it like sheep in a big city? Like, you don't know anybody aside your uncle.
Yeah.
The cultural assimilation. What were you thinking when you got there?
I think I've always been an assimilator. Like, I know if it puts me inside anywhere, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm a talker. So if you could talk to anyone in the world, like, you'll be fine. So I remember I landed in JFK. My uncle came to pick me up. My uncle is a very, 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 very strict Muslim man.
Oh, okay.
So he came to pick me up. He lived in Maryland at the time. And I lived with him and his family but he had 3 kids and his wife. And then I went to school in West Virginia, which is about like a 6-hour drive.
That was like the whole DMV area.
Yeah, the DMV area.
Oh, my producer Kwame is in the DMV area.
Yeah, the DMV area.
How's the area like?
It's really nice. It's very African.
Is it? Oh, really?
It's very African.
Is it more laid back than New York? Because I know New York is very gra-gra.
Yes.
Okay.
DMV, I think, would be like a Calabar, like a Port Harcourt.
Abuja.
Abuja is still calmer. LA is Abuja for me.
LA is?
Yeah, LA is an Abuja for me, I think. It might be an unpopular opinion though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think LA is Abuja for me, because LA is like, if you know good spots, you're having a good time. It's chill, it's breezy, the beach, all that stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you went into uni. Mm-hmm. Is that when you decided to study peace and conflict studies?
Yes.
Why?
God of mercy. Okay.
Like, did you have plans to be on the UN or something?
I did. I wanted to be a peace builder. So because of what I experienced in Lorraine, my goal was to study gender equality and figure out how to take the power from the men and give it back to young women. Because I think my biggest thing with the African society is women are raised not to be leaders, but to be subservient to men. So like, you're raised to be a wife, a mother. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, you're never necessarily raised to be a pioneer. And I think about like Chimamanda's the single story thing that she says with a TED Talk, where we're just one story as a woman in Africa, right? You have to be a certain way. And I wanted to change that. So I wanted to study, like, what does it look like if women are empowered from a young age to think for themselves, to choose the life that they want and not just listen. Because I could have listened. I could have just submitted and done what they wanted, passed my exams, found a man to marry me, have children, which is not bad for anyone whose choice that is. But I wanted to have that choice. And I think that choice is oftentimes taken away from young women when they're growing up. So I studied political science because I still was going to do law. And in America, you can't go to law school straight. You have to do political science pre-law. And then you go to law school and then you apply for the bar, all that stuff. So I did that for like my bachelor's. And then at the end of it, America is really expensive. And my Bank W money has finished at this point. There's nothing for me to
because
do.
I checked.
The money has and the exchange rate is crazy.
It was $6,000 back then, which is now $600.
Yeah. So the exchange rate has finished. And even while I was doing my bachelor's, I'd finished the first year, the money had gone. And so I literally had to go to my school and beg them. Again, I feel like it's so weird to say these things. Because my survival was based on just having good people. Because I remember like I was going to be deported. My mom didn't have money. I had to figure it out. And I went to one of my deans at my college at the time. And I told him, I said, I can't go back to Nigeria. This is my story. Please help me. And there was a scholarship fund that was created for me that paid my tuition for the rest of the year. Like that was how I paid my school fees.
That is
like
so
I
dope.
don't even know if that was allowed or not. So I don't even know if
Did you do like anything for money outside of schooling? Or your uncle was like financially taking care of you? No.
I braided hair. I cooked food for people to sell. Like I did anything and everything.
You were hair tech.
I did
you know how
everything.
in America they put tech behind everything, a lash tech.
I didn't know how to do braids. I learned how to do braids. I did so many things to make money. I remember my friends would tell you, I had a rich friend at the time in school, and the road to the mall would pass a thrift store, which is like a secondhand clothing store. All my friends would carry the car to be going to the mall. They'll say to drop me off at the thrift store. Let me go and buy my secondhand $2, $3, $1 shirts that I can wear for five years here. And I remember they would tell me, no, like we'll buy for you. I was saying, no, thank you. I know what I've worked hard for. I'm going to do it this way. So to see where I am now, I remember like those stories. It's really interesting.
I mean, it's always like, you know, when you're on a journey like that and you look back, it's always more fulfilling that you were able to do it for yourself.
I never thought, like I knew that was not going to be my story. I knew that was not going to be my story. But it still feels surreal to live my reality now. Given
the kind of personality you have, I'm sure it was easy to make friends. Because, you know, as a teenager, friendships are like very important to you. Yes. So moving there as an immigrant, being different, was it easy to make friends?
I think Hannah Montana fucked me up. Because like in my head, I thought I wanted a Lily best friend. Like I wanted those like the cheetah girls like that.
Yeah, a squad. It wasn't like that?
Give me squad. I craved a squad so bad. And one thing I have learned about my personality is I don't think I am the one. I have my one best friend who's been best friends for 15 years, right? Okay. But I think when I was searching for friendship, I was searching in the wrong places and for the wrong reasons. I just wanted sisters. I wanted a sisterhood. I really wanted that connection. And I faltered a lot along the way because this is therapy talking. And so not necessarily like a humble brag, but I learned that when you are the sun, you can't rotate around everybody else. Like they rotate around you. Okay. So what I was trying to do is when you have your light and you're trying to chase other people to light other people, at some point your light will keep dimming. Right? So instead, I decided to just stay in my light and then allow people come me
towards you.
Because what I realized, I'm happy to pour into people, but not at my expense. And I spent a long time pouring into people. I suffered. Like I remember one of my biggest story times that even like catapulted me in 2020 was a friend group I had in college who used to bully me. Like there was one time she gave me phone. A friend got me a phone as a gift for like doing well in school because I didn't have a phone. I didn't have money. I didn't have a phone. I was using an iPad that I even borrowed to survive in school.
Yeah.
So this guy gave me a phone, just platonic, like, oh, like I can afford it here. Go there from Equatorial Guinea. They had money, all that stuff. And for some reason, she just didn't like that. I wasn't like always up her butt, basically. Like I was up her ass. Like I was always just doing my thing. Like she's the one that would go and buy for a restaurant for everybody else. I'll say I'm fine. Let me take my plate to closet. It was the place we'll go. And so this girl literally came to my hostel and said I should come downstairs. She said I should give her the phone. I remember I was around finals week, give me the phone, took the SIM out, threw the SIM in my face and said I should get out of the car. So she seized my phone, seized my cards, seized everything. I said, when you're ready to be a friend and better person to me, like, let me know. That's the kind of friendship I have. Like, this person that left you on top of a mountain and I was scared of heights and left me in the car for 4 hours because I was freaking out and having a panic attack. She kicked me out of our moving car in Miami when we had girls trip because I was not being respectful.
Where were the other girls?
Sitting there watching.
Oh, this is very Mean Girls.
No, Mean Girl energy.
Okay, so Mean Girls actually true because I thought it was a little bit exaggerated.
No, it's not. Like, I think...
Very follow the leader.
I feel like Americans don't have enough suffering. Like, you know when you have peace of mind in a place, you have to manufacture something. That's my issue with the place. Like when you've not suffered enough, you just vibe. Like you make up things to do just for the plot. You know? Like when you've not gone through life, you just... I think that's when most Africans survive in America. Because when we've gone through what we've gone through, where we're coming from. What is it? You're shouting at me. Shout. Sharp. You'll be fine.
We get it on a daily basis in your own house.
In your own house.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, let's talk about your foray into social media.
Yeah.
At a point when you were considering getting into social media, you had an ex who said if you do social media, he will leave you.
It was a Ghana man, no.
It was,
I'm not gonna. The Ghana man in the room. Right now, look at all of you.
How old was he? It was like 15, 16?
Yeah, I was 16, 17.
Uh-huh.
I know. It was a bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
But wait, what was it like? You said, "Oh, I want to do content." And
that was the time like YouTube was going big, and I knew like I wanted to do social media. And I think he just said like, "You're embarrassing me. Like, there's no way you're gonna do that. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, put down the phone, put on the camera. You're not doing that." And it was like end of discussion. Like, you're not allowed to do it. And it wasn't even like you're making fun of me. Like, you're not gonna touch that camera. That's weird. That's interesting. That's different. Like, he was just.
So how long did it take for you to break up with him after that?
Well, like 2 months. Like
2 months.
We're actually we're already even done. But I think, you know, when like you want to really do something, but you listen to other people's opinion. I'm a people pleaser. So I tend to also listen a lot to people because you're in a new place, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to take in everything that's happening. And social media then was so new to people that I'm like, if people that really know me and love me say I shouldn't do this thing, who am I to do it? And why would I do it? You know what I mean? So I didn't do it for like 3-4 years after that. Even in college, like I didn't have money. And then you want to buy a camera, you want to do all
and do all of that. Yeah, it's true.
I remember this friend, she got her first camera and I used to beg this girl. I'll tell her, please, can I use your camera to film video? You'll use me to do I'm coming. God. She said he's coming, I'll give you soon, I'll give you soon. Never got the camera to borrow to film. And I just started my phone. Yeah. And that's what saved me. I just
wait, is this the phone that got taken?
The phone that got taken.
Oh, okay.
Dear. That's what even helped me take it.
So how did you replace that phone?
Oh no, he gave me back. And I just never used it.
Oh, okay.
I just never used it. I just did hair to buy another one.
I
did hair.
When did the big chop happen?
It happened in 2018. January 4, 2018.
What happened?
My last year. It was my uncle. So I remember I talked about having a really strict uncle.
Yeah.
So I don't have a hijab on. You know, I have a crop top on right now. This is even me fully clothed. If I could be naked in Ghana, I'll be naked.
Because it's hot.
It's hot.
It's so hot.
So I was living in his house, but we had moved to Houston then. So he stayed in Houston. I was in Louisiana. And that's like about a 3-hour drive from each other, the different states. And his rule was I had to wear the hijab in his house. And I had to start wearing the hijab because I was growing up too. Like when I came, I was like 15, 16. Like now I think I'm about to be 20, 21. Like I'm a woman. Like you can say teenager stuff, but like I'm a growing woman, you know, marriage, all that thing in a Muslim home. It was not going to be me. That was not even at the beginning of my thought. So I remember telling him, oh, that's not going to happen. Like I'm not going to police. And a lot of kids, like I don't like to lie. Like, that's not who I am. My mom knows that. Like, if I don't want to do something, I won't do it.
You do it, yeah.
So if I have to do it and pretend like, and I just did a video the other day where I wore an outfit with my mom and then I changed in the car, right? I didn't want to keep doing that as a kid. So I remember if I was in my uncle's house, I'll wear this long down the hijab and then I'm going out, I'll take it off in the car and then go like, it just wasn't feeling like me. So I remember he told me about cutting my hair. I used to get migraines. There was a lot going on. And I was about to graduate. I'm an international student in America. I didn't know when I was going to get a job. I didn't have a job. I didn't find out if I was going to go to a master's year or law school. I didn't know what I was going in my life. So I was having a breakdown, genuinely. I remember I just had a call from my uncle and he was just telling me how, you know, I was useless. If I was coming back to his house, I needed to be dressed in a certain way, being a certain way. Like I need to find God. I said, just say you want me to cover. If there was no hair there, do I still need to cover it? I remember I was trying to braid the hair and do crochet at the time. I just took scissors and I just started cutting.
Just cut it.
And they always say like a woman who cuts her hair is about to change her life. And I didn't realize how true that was. Because I remember I shaved it off. I called a friend, Tika, who's this American girl, so sweet. She was in hairstyle. I said, hey, do you have a razor? Can you help me shave this off? So she cut it all off for me. I literally 10 o'clock, I ran to her house. She did it for me. And I remember I sent my friend Snapchat. I called a few of them too. And they were just laughing at me. Oh, you look ugly. You look so bad. Grow it back. I remember saying, grow it back. One of my guy friends was like, you're never entering my car again if you look like that. Like, you look like a boy. Your forehead is big. All this stuff. You can't tell Sophie not to do something. Like you can't.
That one will ginger you.
Yeah, like you can't control. Like I never cared about people's thoughts or my opinions, but at that moment I thought to myself, if they feel so strong about my opinion, I wonder what a young girl who even can't grow hair would feel like because of something like this. So it became more of an identity at that point. I was like, it was more of like a F you guys. Like, no, I'm gonna be bold. Even if I don't like it, I'm gonna be bold. And so I stuck with it. And then the entirety of my time between 2018 till 2020, I just was, I had like short hair. It wasn't fully like this bald. It was just like a fade. I'll have like a little thing. I'll go to the barbers. I'll cut it.
You used to have some lines and stuff.
I used to like do styling on it. I went blonde. I did all those fun things. And then a lot happened during the pandemic that just made me like shave it all off.
Yeah.
Just keep it like this. Yeah.
Okay, so I discovered you during the pandemic. There was a video. I don't remember. You were trying clothes on, and it was one of those things where like it was just the commentary.
Stupid.
See, ha! Yeah, I was like, who is this?
I've been wanting bum for a long time. That's been my goal in life. It's like I want a butt,
right?
And so I had these jeans that I was wearing, and Snapchat has been a huge part of like me for a while. I don't know why, because it felt like I always had a Snapchat with my friends, so I sent my friends a video of me trying on this outfit because we didn't go anywhere during the pandemic. So I'm thinking I'm gaining weight, I'm growing a butt. So I'm wearing these jeans and I sent her this video and she goes, like my friend Ore, shout out to Ore, and she's like, you have to post this on Twitter. It's so funny, Sophie. And I'm like, Twitter, not even Instagram or anywhere.
Twitter.
It's like Twitter. Like,
because Twitter was like peak entertainment during lockdown. Everything was on there.
She was like, you need to post this on Twitter. And I was like, I had 2,000 followers on Twitter then. And it was mostly like people from school. Like it wasn't anything. It was just like friends from school. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll post on Twitter. And I posted on Twitter. I think that video got like 12 or 15 million views. Wow. And I said, hey.
You have arrived.
From those things, I remember I cross-posted it on Instagram then. Nobody was posting, there was no reels then. So it was just like people posting videos. I posted the video too. That got like 1 million views. I said, whoa. And I hit 10,000 followers. I hit 12,000. I hit 30,000, 50,000. I said, people want me to just talk and wear clothes and yap. Bet. I've been hiding out. Give me the mic, give me the camera, let's do it. Yeah. And that's what just started everything. I just started talking more. And I never used to talk, so.
But apparently, at the time, you weren't making any money because you were almost done with school. I think you said you had like 35 days.
My business, bro. You know my business. Like, what?
This is Celia Accra.
Like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
No, so you had like 35 days to leave America if you didn't find a job.
What is going on? Yes.
So you have traction online, but you're not making any money from it. No. You're just getting numbers.
Just getting numbers.
Like, what is the thought process at this point? Because it's like,
it wasn't even. I think it could get really deep. I'm going to be talking about it, like influencing 101, all that stuff soon. But the way it works in America is, as an international student, you can't work. Right, so you're supposed to just be there for studies and then you're done. And social media is such a new foray into like the world. And I remember thinking, I didn't know you could make money. I knew people were making money, but I didn't know you could make money on it. I also knew it could be a job though, and I wasn't sure how I could transition it. So I decided to keep going, but still focus on what I wanted to do, which was law, because law is still on the table at this point. Because 2020 was when I graduated. I was in my master's program now. I finished
for peace and conflict.
Okay. I'm in DC. I'm still thinking, I'm going to go apply for a job to work at the United Nations or like a nonprofit. That was my goal. So at this point, I'm going viral as I'm job searching because I still need a job.
That sounds so funny to me.
Yeah, like, because I also I can't leave America. I need to be in the country. To be in the country, you need a job. Yeah. So I remember getting I needed to leave in end of September. I got my job at the beginning of August.
Wow.
Like, it was that
was wild.
Like it was, and I'd been job searching since the beginning of 2019.
Okay.
Like, that's how much I've been looking for a job. And it's even harder now to even find a job. And my goal wasn't to make money on social media. It was just like for fun. But I knew that at some point, this job that I'm looking for would not be where I wanted to be. I ended up being that way.
Okay. That's wild, guys. So, but like after you get the job and then like social media is still gaining traction, at which point did it become like a business where you like put together a team, management? Because we did some work with you. I used to work with a record label that had Adoma. You know Adoma?
Oh yeah.
You remember we did the video? And yes.
Oh my God.
And we were like, so I was part of the social media team. So we definitely said, yeah, she was good for it because we needed different girls. And I remember they said, your management. I was like, oh, she has management. So let's talk about it.
That's fake email. I beg. Let me tell you.
Was that you? It seems a lot of people do this.
Please.
We had this artist, Mensa.
Rachel Owens, please. That's a fake email. That's what the girls do. When they start, put a fake email out. Oh, hello. Because that's how you can get money. Oh, if you're talking to me, you think you are listening to me properly. No.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Okay, so then this question is moot.
I have management now.
Yes.
But then.
So back then, it was me, myself, and I.
Me and Rachel Owens was, and it was a white woman's name too. I wasn't going to play.
Didn't you ever have to take phone calls?
No.
Oh my God.
Because you just do everything strictly email. And I would draft the email properly and say, my client is Kinika. She's happy to take it. It's just me typing in my laptop like this.
That is crazy. Oh, her manager has replied. They want this. They want that. I was like, oh, wow. This girl was really like, oh.
It was just me.
Oh, that's cute. No, because like we had someone else, an artist that we and he did the same thing. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how we move. That's how to be smart. Because then it helps you with credibility too at some point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so why New York?
Carrie Diaries. I don't know if you know the Carrie Diaries, like Sex in the City, Carrie. So there's this show, it was a high school show that I used to watch. I don't even know if it was when I was in America or Nigeria. I just know I'd watched the Carrie Diaries series. And she was this young white girl who went to school in New York, who went to work in New York, and she was chasing her dreams. And I wanted that so bad because New York represents like uninhibited dreams. Like,
right.
You could be anyone in New York. Like
they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
You could like... New York is so, like, I can stand in the middle of the city and so many people are walking past me and I don't matter, but I also matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can feel like you're lost, but you're also so important.
You're not one of one, but you're unique.
But you're unique in your own way. Like, you could turn around and it's a crazy city. Okay. And I like to say, like, I thrive in New York because it's like Lagos was structured.
Yeah.
I say, like, New York is what Lagos could be and should be, right? For a lot of Africans. Like, Lagos is that hub too. I love New York. Like, New York makes me feel like I'm not an oddity. Like, it makes me feel like I simply can dream whatever and it can happen. And I love it. It's like when you make it in New York, you've made it, like you said. Yeah. I just love it. It's been a story. It's been like that place I said, oh, I'll live once in America, see if I love it. And I lived in Louisiana, West Virginia, Houston, Maryland, DC, Virginia.
Girl, you have...
I was everywhere. I was everywhere moving around because I wanted to find... And nowhere felt like home except for New York. Like, New York is home. Like, yeah, I love it there.
It's great that you bring the oddity because this is like a twofold question.
Yeah.
So now that like you stayed in America and then you're now doing social media, I wanted to know what your mother thought of it because mommy is still waiting for the law degree. And so not anymore. Now you've cut your hair.
Yeah.
And now you are showing your bald head to everybody online. What was the relationship like?
Me and my mom's relationship has evolved. I think my followers would tell you that. Shout out to the Odd Fam. When I first started doing social media, because again, Sofiyat, I don't think a lot, and I should. But I remember one of my biggest videos that went viral was me in a bikini, and I was talking about like being a black girl with a being a black. Can I curse?
Yeah. Underarms.
Being a black bitch with your black bits.
Yes, right? I remember that video.
Underarms, darker, pubic area, darker knees, all that stuff, and so many young girls. And I like to say this. Having those lighter parts is oftentimes a sign of like economic prosperity. Because what happens is you're not needing to shave because you're going to wax or you're going to exfoliate, you're going to do all these things. But young women living anywhere around the world, as you're growing up, you're using normal shaving stick that you can buy down the street, right? Like you're learning how to take care of yourself. So even though, yes, there are ways for you to change that, the norm for the most part is just you're going to have darker underarms.
Darker bits, yeah.
It's normal, right? It's normal. And I remember like, Jackie Aina had posted a video where she gone to, I think she either been at the Met Gala or at an event, and people or she had a bikini on. People were talking about like even Jackie Aina had darker bits, right? And they were like, oh, like hyperpigmentation, turmeric warriors would say use turmeric soap, use kojic acid, yappa. So I remember doing a video where I was like, I'm a bad bitch with my black bits. And I was wearing a bikini. Hey!
A Muslim.
On the video. My mother called me. She threw herself down the stairs. Sofiyat Ibrahim. The drama was even plenty because now here's my mother. That's how you know I'm dramatic too. Held the phone steady as she's falling. Please, that takes dedication. I literally was cackling. My mom is like holding the phone steady, tumbling down the stairs, telling me I'm going to kill her now because I'm wearing bikini on video on Instagram. Please, what do I do to that? What can I say? No, she was, in my head then, I was so, like I was hurt. Like I was a child who was struggling. Like I love this woman so much, but I also know like, I wasn't thinking like that. I remember there was an uncle that called me, oh, I'm in a group chat and my friends are sending a video to me. Why are you naked? And I said, uncle, you think I'm sexy? Because why else are you calling me? What do you want me to say? He said, why would you say? I said, because why else are you calling me, telling me about how I look? Do you think I'm sexy? Because what I was talking about was being a bad bitch with my black bits. It was not the sexiest video. This is not me on a pole dancing, shaking my bum bum. I literally open my armpits and telling you, look at how black it is. And you look at that video and come to me and you say, why are you doing that video? You think I'm sexy, uncle? Tell me with your face. Tell me with your chest. And they never came back again.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it have been. And I think she reacted that way. We didn't talk for a long time. My brother was, actually, I was a prodigal daughter. My brother was a shining star. And for those 2 years, I'd already given her the degree too. So she was like going through a lot at the time. And I just remember as an African kid that our society is ruled by shame, which is the norm. Like when you're growing up, you're meant to, you know, you listen to your neighbors talk.
Have shame.
Yeah, like be careful. Don't let them talk about you. Don't let them say this. Don't let those aunties that are there. Da, 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 da. And I realized that the only way for me to truly be myself was to just ignore all of those things, which meant also ignoring my mom, which is hard for a lot of kids to do. And I also thankfully had the financial independence, which is something I know a lot of African kids do not have. I fought for that. I fought hard because that was the only thing. That's the only thing they tend to use to control you is you're living in their home. They're paying your school fees.
They're feeding you. Yeah.
You can't go anywhere. And for you, losing that support system might be the choice you have to make between chasing your dreams. And I chose to lose that support system to chase my dreams because I was so sure my dreams were going to come true. I knew it. Like I knew at some point my mom would be okay. I just knew that this 2-3 years though, that you're watching me, you might not be happy with me. But there'll come a time where you see that I'm also going to grow up. Like tomorrow, I might not wear bikini anymore online. Yeah. Like it's growth. And I'm never going to, I know everything I do online, I would never be ashamed of it. That's one thing I told myself is every decision I make online, I think about, because I edit my videos. I watch them. I am very, very certain, like I would never regret anything I post because of that. Like I think through everything. Because as a young 12, 13-year-old girl in Lagos, Nigeria, in Osun State, in Accra, Ghana, who's watching me and thinking, I wish I could do that too. And I'm okay with that because someone's going to learn a lesson out of anything I post. Yeah.
You know, my mom says this. My mother never had daughters. She just has sons. But she's always said that she's never really understood like why people give a lot of people, women or girls flack for like wearing revealing clothes. And this is her logic. It's like, there's a time that's going to come where they're going to cover up because it's not going to be very flattering to show those parts. So whilst it is flattering, why are we worrying them? Maybe that's also because she never had daughters, but that's what my mom always says like, about that. So
my friends say it now, like they're like, oh, it's even like the way I dress is oftentimes never for the male gaze, but for me. Like,
but you know, a lot of, dare I say African men, but like men don't buy that. When women say they do stuff for themselves, men don't buy that.
That's their problem. That's their honestly. That's their cup of tea. Like, truly, it's really not for the male gaze. I remember, like, I had a friend who always complained about, like, oh, wearing this, wearing that. Half the time when I'm getting dressed, I'm literally calling my girlfriends to tell them how I look. Like, we're coordinating looks together. Most of the time when girls are getting ready, it's not just like, who's going to look the hottest for the man? It's really like, between ourselves, how good can we look for ourselves? A lot of the times, when I see young women, like, talking about getting dressed, feeling good, wearing that makeup, the blush technique of having blush on your hair and you think it's for men. Men don't even know what blush is. They don't care. Like the crop top but they don't care. So we're not doing it for them. We're doing it for ourselves.
Where would you say, because you know, I did research. Yeah. I've been listening to your podcast, by the way. Am I Too Loud? Where would you say you get your like positivity and conviction from? Because you see, here's the thing. I grew up also here in Ghana. But the difference is that I conformed because I wanted to please my parents. You know, and fortunately for me, I was able to get the good grades, first class and everything. And now I don't feel like conforming. You know what I mean? And I mean, I have financial independence. I've moved out and everything. And I feel like now I can live my life. But you started out 9 years old. And I'm just wondering, where is that from? Because you grew up in a household where your brother was conforming. You get it? So
that's true.
Where were you is it Hannah Montana?
Honestly, I don't want, it's a weird thing, it's been innate, like it's a me thing. But I will say it's helped a lot that my brother was 10 years apart from me. I think it did. I think I was able to look, if you can tell, like assimilation is like looking at other people around you and learning from them. I learned really quickly that I didn't want the life my brother led from a very young age. Like I saw that and I knew it. I love him. And did
you think he was unhappy?
No, I just think he wasn't himself.
Oh, okay.
Like my brother and my mom's relationship is so like healthy for them. But like when I was growing up, like they were so codependent. And I just knew I didn't want that for me. I also think I am my mom's wildest dreams come true. That's what I like to say to her.
Okay.
Like, everything she wanted to do, I'm doing it now. My mom is also very much like, if you see her on my TikTok, she's dramatic, she's fun, she's engaging. My mom used to wear jeans and red lipstick. She used to wear big blazer with her breast showing. She doesn't want to She doesn't want to agree now. When she used to go to the she studied in the UK.
Okay.
She used to do all that. She was very bold, and she also conformed. So I remember like growing up, watching her and slowly seeing like my grandfather say comments to her to dim her a little. Her siblings say comments to dim her a little. And I see how like my mom might leave the house very, very happy and excited and come back home drained and exhausted. Now I think to myself, no one will ever do that to me. Like no one would ever take that joy from me. Right. And I think that's what helped me like constantly just, all of you will be all right. Because we only have one life to live.
Everybody shall go do okay.
Right. Like, we have one life, man. Like, if I'm living for everybody else, who's going to live my life?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. So now you've worked with many, many brands, done many gigs. I want to know, what's the best brand experience you've had working on a job? And then the worst one?
Oh, you want to put me in trouble?
You don't have to mention names.
Okay.
You know,
I'll mention name for the best.
The best,
I would say the best was also the most controversial was Tarte Cosmetics. They're a makeup brand in America. They're known for like a lot of like issues with racism, and I'm not opening my case here. Racism and issues around like not supporting Black girls and Black women and like uplifting Black people. Okay. And they went through a sort of like growth period where they were trying to transition and change. So it was a very tough call working with them. But they're the best brand I've worked with because they showed me what intentionality looked like when you're working with a brand. Flew me first class to a private island, like not first class, private jets.
Was that
private island?
Was it Bora Bora?
Bora Bora, yeah. Once Bora Bora,
that was them. Okay.
The CEO bought me a luggage. She would run around and support and help me. Sat me down. They helped me with like my visa situation, my green card. Like they've been very intentional about showing up for me.
Oh wow!
And every time I've questioned their loyalty or their why, they've always provided evidence as to why they're changing. And I'm someone who cancel culture is very finicky for me. I like to say that like it's weird because I think human beings are prone to making mistakes. Corporations will always make mistakes. The goal is how are you being intentional about changing those mistakes? Yeah. And they showed me that they're able to change that. Worst brand, I wouldn't say worst. I wouldn't say their name, but there's this brand that like was my dream brand. Like that was the goal for my highlight for my year last year was to work with them. And I did. And it was... Was
it the ones who cut you off?
No.
Midway through your, like, you had the job and then the one where you were getting like 11,000?
Oh, it's 12 period. No, not that one. Oh, wait, that should be the one. I forgot. You know when trauma bonding, I forgot. That was an experience. That, I think, yes. We're not going to mention the brand's name.
We're not.
But that was my first non-social media job I ever had. Okay. And I wouldn't say it was the worst. It was the most eye-opening experience for me. Because I think America is a big place. And you guys always, Africans will talk about like hearing racism and saying, oh, Americans like to talk about racism, blah, blah, blah. Since real low. I won't lie. Like, I think I'm able to even come up or come above it, which is a weird thing to say, only because of my upbringing as an African woman. So I'm able to still like look at someone telling me nonsense and just ignore. Because I sort of have that pride and arrogance that oftentimes Nigerians carry, right? That job showed me that no matter how well I work, how good I worked, I'm still seen as just a Black person. That was what it was. I remember like I had a breakdown during that job where they told me they used to put terrible makeup on my face, terrible outfits. They would tell me that I dressed like a slut, that I needed to wear better outfits for the age appropriate.
Was it like a diversity hire situation?
It was.
That's what it's given.
It was a very diversity hire situation. It was, and I underestimated how much of a diversity hire it was until it was too late. And I fought really hard to have my voice heard. And it was fun for what it was. And the team was great. But corporations will always cooperate. You know, they always do that. They will always behave the way they want to behave. And it was
follow
unfortunate.
Their own bottom line,
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you've had like really a great trajectory since your foray into it. But like a lot of people don't know this backstory. But you know, now you're telling a lot of it on your podcast.
I am.
Which you do on your apartment balcony. Do you have a white sofa?
I have a green sofa. Which says a lot about my me too. Yeah.
And I see your nails. Have you seen Wicked?
I have.
Oh.
I have. I've even saw that was my first Broadway show ever.
Oh.
It was Wicked. I love Wicked.
But have you seen the movie?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. I had no idea about the storyline or anything. And I watched the movie. I went in blind and I am obsessed. I can't wait for part 2.
Like the Broadway show, like it's I love it. I don't know why I've not watched the movie, but I'm nervous I'm not gonna like it. But every
I liked it.
Stan loves it.
It was great.
I think I'll watch it when I get home.
It was.
Yeah.
But anyway, the question I was gonna ask was podcasting. Why?
Hey, I have so much. I'm learning so much from you right now. Like, mad props to you.
Oh, really?
You're
Thank
doing
you.
a phenomenal host.
I mean, we've only been doing this for 7 years.
7 years is crazy.
It's crazy.
God, see?
Yeah.
I'm a
Things
newbie.
only picked up after the 5th year. So buckle up.
How do y'all do it? Because, bruh.
It's just like, you know how like you stuck to your guns with everything that you're doing because you know it's going to pay off? Just keep doing it. Yeah.
Telling you, as a social media person from beginning to end, podcasting is the one thing, it's the hardest thing I've done with the lowest result. I don't know how to explain that. It's such hard work.
I saw you were on a podcast where you were talking about how it's like you get all these numbers on your TikToks and stuff, and now you're doing podcasts and it's like the views are so low.
It humbles you quick. You think you can talk podcast, it will tell you you're not even ready.
Yeah.
Like, it's a production. It's so expensive, but I wanted to do something to grow and learn. And I think podcasting helps you become a better person too in like your craft. I think with social media, what's my end goal? Like I like to say I want to be the next female Kevin Hart. Yeah. And not necessarily like as a comic, but more as
the business side of things. So you want to do movies?
I want to do movies. I want to be TV shows. Like I can see myself in like an Abbott Elementary as a guest
okay.
star. Like
I was gonna say, oh, not Nollywood.
No, that too.
Because
like,
you know Nollywood is kind of like really picking up.
I want to do Nollywood. I know Children of Blood and Bone is coming up too, and I want to like my dream is like star in Children of Blood and Bone.
You need to plug yourself in there.
Like,
they're on Amazon now. They're on Netflix now.
Yeah, like I want to bridge that gap, right? The diaspora and the continent. There's a huge gap there. How do we bring all of us together? And I think that's where my passion lies. I think podcasting helps me start having those tough conversations because the things I talk about on a podcast are crazy, but it's like fun. Like it's that avenue to where even if the numbers aren't there now, I'm learning how to talk better, how to communicate, how to share. And the feedback I've been getting is that people are just like obsessed with just like the vulnerability that comes. Like one of my first episodes was like, am I gay? Like, am I crying?
That was episode 2.
So
I've listened.
Please.
You just go on and on and on. It's really...
I'm showing that woman gay. Like she's stressed out.
She will be fine.
Oh, she will. She has no choice.
Do you think you'll ever do Big Brother Africa?
No.
Big Brother Nigeria?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Why not?
I would never.
Because I feel like it could be a show to enter the...
No. Hey, I mean, how can I be very politically correct with this? It's just not for me.
It's not for you?
It's not for me.
Okay.
I think, I don't need it.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
All right, my last question to you, because we come to the end of this interview is...
So fun, okay.
Yeah, and I like to ask people this because, you know, people always say, oh, do you have any last words? Do you have any advice? I hate giving unsolicited advice.
Yes.
Let them come and ask me, I'll tell them. But what do you want people to understand about you, the Odditty? Yeah.
That's a good question.
What do you think about it? Let me just quickly tell them how the name came about. So because everybody used to tell her she was weird and different, she went and she looked up weird, and then she looked at synonyms for weird, and then she saw different things, and she saw Oddity, and then she was like, oh, this one looks like there's one letter missing. She added an extra T, so it became Oddity with 2 T's.
Okay. Oddity spelled normally is so weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's some words like that. It's like, why are we doing this? My brain looks
so wired. So I'm like, no, Oddity should have 2 T's. Yeah. That makes more sense. Anyways.
And that's how it is. So so what do you want people to understand about you as a person?
That I am a multi-potentialite. That's the person, a jack of all trades and a master of all, is what I like to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I enjoy doing multiple things. I cannot be put in a box. I would never be put in a box. I am learning. I am growing. I'm the definition of a human who is simply trying and existing while trying. And I share that unapologetically all the time. So if you ever watch a TikTok of mine, to learn about me, watch 5 more TikToks or watch 5 more YouTube videos or watch 5 more, because you're going to learn so much more about me through that. You would never be able to sum me up in a simple box. Like I'm not going to be placed in a box. I'm going to be placed in a label. I'm simply existing. I'm having fun. And I hope if you're watching this, you come on the ride because it's going to be a fun one. I think 2025 is my year of growth and execution, is what I like to say. I want to see more African stories told, not as African stories, but just as stories, period. And I feel like I want to be at the forefront
of that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, but one thing I like about your existence is that you contribute to the fact that Africans are not a monolith.
We're not.
You know, for the longest time, we're coming from the whole things fall apart story. Like, you know, there's this narrative of Africans being a certain way. And I feel like our generation and the one after ours, we're breaking all those molds, starting with not even wanting to get married. So, yeah. So the truth is, like, we're not a monolith. And you know, there's some Africans that listen to like white music bands. Yeah. And it's not because they're Oreos. It's just like
Shabuzi. Shabuzi.
He's Nigerian, right?
Like, of course. Like, you know, he's Nigerian. They're everywhere. Like Sesefly.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to the Sincerely Accra podcast. This was a great conversation.
Oh
my God. I can't wait for this to come out. I don't even know when it's coming out, but it's going to come out. Guys, so that's it. Your socials, where people can
you guys
find
follow
you.
me everywhere at THE_ODDITTY, the Odditty. Follow my podcast, Am I Too Loud podcast, every single place you can find it, but especially on YouTube because I post video content. And yeah, I live in New York. If you're ever in New York, come find me, like nicely. But yeah,
Shout out. How's Kovu?
He's fine.
Okay,
he's back home. He was with his father. So
his father.
I know.
Oh. Your lucky time is up. Anyway, guys, that's been our conversation with Aderonke. I like the name too.
No, I love that you call me that.
Yeah, but the Oddity. So check her out. Check her out on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. And you know, support. I keep saying, you always want to do comparisons, and these people have these people that just support the ones that are there. Yeah. And we shall also blow. Thank you so much. My name is Joseph N.T. I want to give a quick shout out to the Gold Coast Report. That's the GCR network, the #1 podcast hosting network in Accra, Ghana. And my producer and co-creator, Mr. Kwame Asante, who is here in the studio for the first time, looking at me. But anyway, I love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.